So here we are tinting a 2024 Volkswagen Golf Type R. I think it's a Type R. Anyways, we're just gonna get started with this. This is gonna be 5% on the rear and then 35% on the front. We're not gonna be doing the front ports. In order to do those, you would need to remove the glass or remove the A-pillar. So we're not gonna be doing any of that. Taped up the edges, already cleaned the sides and then taped up the felt as much as is needed in this case. We don't need to do the entire thing. Yeah, this is actually going to be an easier rear windshield to do for a Golf, because typically Golfs are actually hard to do on the rear windshield because the older versions, they used to be really curvy, if you will. And since they're not as curvy anymore, they like the newer ones are a bit more flat. And so this will actually be a little bit easier to do. So let's get started. I'm going to be taking you guys through this and hopefully something comes out of my mouth that will be of value to you. I'm gonna close the garage door and then we're gonna get started. So right here, it's actually extremely tight, very tight. So this I have to make sure I'm cognizant of remembering, because it could cause an issue with the installation section, the installation part. So in this case, I'm going to have to, we can see here that there's some crinkling up going on, and that's because obviously there's not enough space here. And that's also because as a plotter cut, the weeded out area is running up against the plastic. So stainless steel blade to just cut the excess backing sheet off. So this thing can lay flat. There we go. Now, when we're shrinking the top, this looks like it's gonna be super easy. When we're shrinking the top, again, we don't wanna spend too much time up there because the heat has nowhere to go. So it's just coming in here, and it's likely gonna do too much nonsense if we're having the heat up there for too long, right? So we will refrain from doing that. Let's just get started here with shrinking this rear window. See, it's come down too far. Just tack it down so it doesn't drop down on me again. But I can already tell that this is going to be a very easy window to shrink because the fingers are almost obsolete. Like they almost don't even exist. You can't even see the fingers, which is a predictor of how easy a job is going to be. It's very easy, very easy. So Golfs, the newer Golfs, are clearly not as hard as the harder Golfs, or the older Golfs. The older Golfs, when I say old, I'm talking about like, what is it, Mach 2 or Mark 2? 2012, 2011, older, those suck to tint. Okay, what I'm gonna do what I should have done in the first place. So we're gonna, even though I've already shrunk the bottom, I'm going to show you how I normally would have shrunk this, and for whatever reason I forgot entirely because I'm talking. So what I'm going to be doing here, I brought the film down a bit so that I can focus on just the top, and then I would bring the film back up and do the bottom, even though I've already done the bottom. Now I'm bringing the side here, I'm bringing the side up so that it's flat on the glass, because of course we don't want to tint, we don't want to apply heat when the film is off the glass. So I'm applying some pressure to get the top to lay down before I add in heat. So, as you saw, I then went and redid it. That is not ideally how you would have tinted a vehicle, a window like that. Generally, you would have just done it all in one piece, but the attempt of doing the top after the fact kind of messed things up. You would do it the opposite way. You would have the top come down, try to make sure the top edge or the top part of the film is flat before you attempt to shrink it, then move it up, and then do the bottom. That's ideally how you would have done that. Anyways, let me show you how to install it. So this is just your typical hatchback, right? And being that it is just a typical hatchback, we are going to take, or hatchback, or just a gate, whenever you're working on a gate, right? We're gonna take this and we're gonna place it on the side of the vehicle. Now, this vehicle has more dust than I would like. And because we're not into cleaning, like I don't wanna scratch this vehicle because it is a brand new vehicle. I'm just gonna spray it, because it is dusty. I'm gonna spray it so I can stick this onto it. And I'm just going to have the bottom here, and we can tell the bottom because of where the windshield wiper insert goes. And we'll have the bottom here facing the back of the vehicle. Okay, I'm gonna leave this dry on it just in case I need to redo the window. In this case, I'm not too worried about water. If you want, you can cover this if you're concerned about the water. I'm not. We're going to use our trusty clay bar. Again, this is a 2024, so you would usually not be expecting any issues with it. But I've had brand new vehicles, and when I clay barred the defrosters in the rear windshield, it come out caked up black. So just clay barred anyways, and it's nothing serious. Just try to go over it twice or so with cross patterns, right? So one way and then the other way, so you can just get a better coverage. Right, so this is what it was looking like, and now it looks like this, even though this is a brand new car that the customer just picked up. Microfiber towel, just gonna wipe it. Now with these cars, they are dust magnets, and the reason why is because their seals are formed in such a way that it really traps contamination. So if the customer ever drove or will ever drive in the future, even if they have, because they've had this car for 2 weeks, if at any point during the last 2 weeks they drove with the windows down, we got contamination all up in there. So be careful with these corners in here. Wipe them down. I'm gonna grab my contour, we'll put it into my towel, my rag, and I'm gonna go in there and attempt to grab whatever's in there. And in this case, there is nothing, so that's good. Excellent. Take the bottom, and then last but not least, I'm gonna clean this part of the panel, which is on the inside, and it lays down, and it's flat like this when the gate is closed, which means the dust will just fall and land and stay on it. So we want to make sure we clean that part too. Now be careful when you're spraying up there, because you don't want to spray so much that you drag contamination down. Now again, because this is wet, what I'm going to be doing is attempting to just rinse around the area, and rinse and wet so that the dust doesn't really pick up, right? And then kind of lightly spray around the area so the dust doesn't pick up. And then spray as you go. In this case, I'm gonna have a little trickiness because my blades need to be cut better. And so the film is kind of all messed up. Now spray as you go. Okay, now what you want the bottom of the film to be facing away, so the sticky part, the glue part of the film to be sticking away from you, but you want where the windshield wiper insert goes to be at the top because it's going up here. So you want the bottom at the top. Now again, this vehicle is different than most. So you kind of have to let the film bend in if possible and try to get it done as smoothly as possible without creasing. Can't go too high up there. All right, well, there we go. Let me just double check to make sure we don't have any light gaps. So looking good. That was a bit more challenging, but job is almost done. We're going to squeegee out to the sides. The top actually looks not too bad. We'll need to do some fixing because we didn't get to shrink all of it, of course. And I'm going to continue to apply heat so that I can create more fingers if there are other fingers. Bring the fingers, if there are any, from the sides to the bottom or top. In this case, I'd rather bring them to the bottom because I have more clearance to work with. Okay, cool. Got a finger here. This finger right here. So we're going to shrink that finger and then do the same thing on the other side. So there you have that. That's the rear windshield of a 2024 Volkswagen Golf. We're going to go over making sure that it's all good and we don't have any bubbles or any other fingers that are showing up. From there, my friends, we will continue the rest of the vehicle. I will probably not be speaking for the rest of the video